The trial for former reality TV star Josh Duggar continues today. A live report from the courthouse just ahead. Plus, the Omicron variant continues to spread in the United States. Coming up, a closer look at the new COVID variant. The trial for former reality TV star Josh Duggar continues today. Thanks for joining us on your 5 News at noon. I'm Tiffany Lee. Duggar is facing charges of downloading and possessing child pornography. 5 News reporter Zoe Henry has been following this case. She joined us live from the courthouse in Fayetteville with the latest.
The defense's argument throughout this entire trial was Joshua Duggar was not behind the computer, but the prosecution spent the morning arguing the exact opposite. Now, the forensic analyst who looked through Duggar's personal computer found passwords. Now, these passwords are used for Instagram, banking, paying his electric bill. These are also the same passwords used to get into the computer to download the child pornography at the dealership. Now, employees also have access to this password to use the computer at the dealership for legit business, selling cars, paying bills, etc., whatever else they do at the dealership. Now, another argument happening was the analyst showed a list of pictures and messages that Duggar was sending at the same time pornography was downloaded at the dealership. So Duggar would be outside taking pictures, sending messages, and moments later, that pornography would be downloaded onto that computer. Now, that's the prosecution's argument, placing Duggar at the scene of the time when those downloads were happening. Now, we're waiting for the defense to come back and see what they have to say. I'm live in Fayetteville, covering news where you live. Zoe Henry, 5 News.
Thanks for that, Zoe. Now, we are stepping outside in Fayetteville. Here's a shot of the square right now, and it is courtesy of the city's Chamber of Commerce. But it's been a beautiful day, a beautiful few days. Michelle, you know this is my favorite kind of weather. Please tell me it's staying.
I know you love record heat, and you had your day yesterday. It was 79 degrees in Fort Smith.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible. But we're supposed to be in the 50s right now. Right now, if you look live in Bentonville, you can see temperatures are in the 70s already. We're currently at 72 degrees. We're showing clear skies, but I think we have a little more cloud cover than that. We're seeing some increasing cloud cover ahead of our next front that's going to push through tomorrow and to Sunday. It's pretty much just going to stall over us and just keeping going up and south going throughout this weekend. So we'll talk about that a little more later, but temperatures pretty warm and mild at the 70s. You can see 72 to 70 degrees. And then looking at the River Valley, cool one is 65 degrees in Fort Smith. So right now we have clear skies, but we're watching a huge, just a lot of cloud cover pushing up from the south. We're going to see this increasing throughout the overnight hours tonight, and that cold front is pretty much going to stall there, move down, and then go back throughout this whole weekend, and that's why we have rain chances almost every single day until about Monday. So looking at that throughout the rest of the day, temperatures are going to cool down to the 50s throughout the night. You can see that increase in cloud cover throughout this evening. Same thing in the River Valley, temperatures cooling to the 50s, and here's these rain chances. They really start to increase on Sunday, and we can see 1 or 2 stronger storms across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, Tiffany, and I'll break down the details coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Michelle. The parents of accused school shooter Ethan Crumbley could be charged as soon as today. Crumbley, who is 15 years old, has been charged as an adult for allegedly killing 4 students and injuring 7 other people at his high school in Oxford, Michigan. Now, in a statement, the school superintendent said that it still looks like a war zone, and it could be weeks before students can actually return to school. Nancy Chin is in Oxford, Michigan, and she's following the investigation.
100%. It could have been prevented. Yes.
Oakland County Prosecutor Kara McDonald said justice is the reason her office charged the alleged shooter, Ethan Crumbley, with 24 felony charges, including 1 count of terrorism.
What's behind that charge? It speaks for what really happened. This is not something that just happened to 8 individuals. This is, the footprint is large, and it has a ripple effect.
We hear something that sounds like someone being punched against a locker.
17-year-old Catalina Ifkovitz credits her math teacher for saving lives on Tuesday.
The shooter was right outside our classroom. He was able to shut the door immediately and get us all in the lockdown mode. If it hadn't been for the teachers, I don't know how many more casualties there would have been.
To say that I am still in shock and numb is probably an understatement.
Last night, Oxford Community Schools Superintendent Tim Throne addressed the shooting and victims.
We have parents that sent their kids to school 2 days ago, and they're never coming home.
Police say the shooter used a semi-automatic handgun purchased by his father just days before Tuesday's attack. McDonald is investigating the alleged gunman's parents for possible charges.
And what could those potential charges look like? It went far beyond just a negligent parent, and fully support and advocate holding them responsible if that meets the threshold and the elements are there.
Law enforcement officials say that so far the parents are not cooperating. The suspect has pleaded not guilty to all charges. The superintendent also says that there were no prior disciplinary actions for the alleged shooter, despite a meeting on his behavior just hours before the shooting. Nancy Chen, CBS News, Oxford, Michigan.
Definitely a sad story. Now, both chambers of commerce have now voted to pass a temporary spending bill. The stopgap plan passed in the Senate is providing a short-term extension to avoid a government shutdown. The measure will now go to the president to be signed into law. From there, the plan funds the federal government through February 18th, providing lawmakers 11 more weeks to reach a full agreement. The plan continues the current spending levels, but also adds another $7 billion in funding to help aid Afghanistan evacuees. In Farmington, police arrested a counselor at the city's high school. According to investigators, Jody Whitehead is accused of public intox. Officers were called after coworkers said that she was intoxicated. Officers reported she was not cooperative when they arrived and she smelled like alcohol. She was taken to the Washington County Jail and booked on public intoxication charges. And many questions surround the Omicron variant. While Arkansas hasn't seen the Omicron case just yet, we wanted to know what the process is for testing for variants in the state. Dr. Jennifer Dillahay with the Arkansas Department of Health says that all tests that meet a criteria for virus makeups, they get sent to a lab in Minnesota for sequencing. This will then determine the variant. Right now, it takes an additional week for those variant results to get back to the Arkansas Health Department, but they're working on a system internally that could help speed up the process.
We do monitor the sequences. We're working to be able to sequence within the state. That will give us more rapid turnaround. We're not there yet, but hopefully we will be in the near future.
And if you look on your screen, this is an updated map and it's showing the states where Omicron has been identified. So far, New York, Minnesota, and Colorado, they all have confirmed cases. In Arkansas, more than 1,200 new COVID-19 cases have been added in the last day. This brings the overall total up to nearly 531,000. There are currently 6,585 active cases, and 6 more have died from the virus. Hospitalizations are now standing at 432 statewide, with 78 COVID patients currently on a ventilator. There are now more than 6,500 active COVID-19 cases statewide. Locally, both Benton and Washington counties are still considered hot spots. You can see the dark blue here on the map for areas with hot spots. Benton County currently has 565 active cases of COVID. That's up 52. And in Washington County, there's 430 active cases, which is an increase of 37. Sebastian County has 262 active cases, and that is up by 30. The Fort Smith Board of Directors spent part of their meeting getting feedback from those upset that the city's dog park is now closed. Some local pet owners addressed the board about concerns of the impact, and they think that this will have a big impact on the city. They say that they want the city to find land for a large dog park, but the city says nothing is available. Back in June, the city announced that the dog park would they would look for a way to make a new center, but instead they now have a foreign military pilot training center going up, and no vote was taken on the issue. Fort Smith city workers are getting a pay raise. City directors approved an average 4.7% pay hike. The city says that the hope is that a more competitive salary will encourage more candidates to apply to open positions, as well as keep current employees. Directors also approved buying some new equipment for the police department. The department will be getting new tasers and body cam video equipment. This will be a cost of $1.3 million and it'll be spread out over 5 years. That equipment includes a system in which an officer's body cam is automatically turned on when the officer's firearm is removed from its holster. The board also says yes to selling $145 million in revenue bonds to help with the first of a 3-phase expansion project at Mars Pet Care out at Chaffee Crossing. Now, the total expansion will help the company keep its 300 employees while helping to add 120 new jobs. COVID cases across the world are on the rise. Coming up, a look at some of the tough measures that some countries are having to take to get their numbers down. After a whole week of sunny skies, record-breaking temperatures, and pretty quiet weather, we do have a cold front that's going to push through this weekend, which is going to bring some rain chances. And after that cold front pushes through, we're going to see 40s for highs next week. I'll break down all the details coming up after break.